I have to look at the nice faces. Most of your faces I know through Grace.
Hi.
Hello. I met Grace when I was 17, and I'm 51, so it's hard for me to understand. But I met her. I was her student at Sarah Lawrence, and I teach at Sarah Lawrence now. And I wanted to read. I've been thinking about Grace and teaching, since she was such an important teacher for me and for so many people. So I wanted to read some notes on teaching, probably spoken, just as I thought. And I'm not going to read all the notes because I have only 10 minutes. I want to read 2 poems too. Here are about 15 things I might say in the course of a term, to freshmen or seniors, to 2 people or a class of 20. Every year the order is a little different because the student's work is different and I am in another part of my life. I do not elaborate on plans or reasons because I need to stay as ignorant in the art of teaching as I want them to remain in the art of literature. The assignments I give are usually assignments I've given myself, problems that have defeated me, investigations I'm still pursuing. 1. Literature has something to do with language. There's probably a natural grammar at the tip of your tongue. You may not believe it, but if you say what's on your mind in the language that comes to you from your parents and your street and friends, you'll probably say something beautiful. Still, if you weren't a tough, recalcitrant kid, that language may have been destroyed by the tongues of school teachers who were ashamed of interesting homes, inflection, and language, and left them all for correct usage. 2. A first assignment, to be repeated whenever necessary by me or the class. Write a story, a first-person narrative, in the voice of someone with whom you're in conflict. Someone who disturbs you, worries you, someone you don't understand. Use a situation you don't understand. 3. No personal journals, please, for about a year. Why? Boring to me. When you find only yourself interesting, you're boring. When I find only myself interesting, I'm a conceited bore. When I'm interested in you, I'm interesting. 4. This year I want to tell stories. I asked my father, now that he's old and not so busy, to tell me stories so I can learn how. I try to remember my grandmother's stories, the faces of her dead children. A first assignment for this year, tell a story in class, something that your grandmother told you about a life that preceded yours. This will remind us of our home language. And now I'm going to skip ahead to 10. What is the difference between a short story and a novel? The amount of space and time any decade can allow a subject and a group of characters. All this clear only in retrospect, therefore be risky. 11. A student says, why do you keep saying a work of art? You're right, it's a bad habit. I mean to say a work of truth. 12. What does it mean to tell the truth? It means, for me, to remove all lies. A life full of holes was said truthfully at once from the beginning. Therefore, we know it can be done. But I am, like most of you, a middle-class person of articulate origins. Like you, I was considered verbal and talented and then improved upon by interested persons. These are some of the lies that have to be removed. A. The lie of injustice to characters. B. The lie of writing to an editor's taste or a teacher's. C. The lie of writing to your best friend's taste. D. The lie of the approximate word. E. The lie of unnecessary adjectives. And F. The lie of the brilliant sentence you love the most. And 2 poems, short poems. The Hard-Hearted Rich. Oh, how hard the hard-hearted rich are when they meet working people in their places of work, a cab or a restaurant kitchen, and the hard heart beats and eases the mouth into saying, well, they do get minimum wage, probably. And oh, the hard-hearted rich when they meet an ordinary bum, or maybe a homeless person on their street or broad boulevard standing on the pavement, common to all the good shops, holding a paper cup or cap and asking for change. Oh, say the hard-hearted rich, they will use it for drugs or drink and be found at midnight in a drunken sleep in the doorway of the best shop of all. Then the hard-hearted rich, and there are many in our city, just as there are many women and men working in hard-driven poverty or not working at all. Oh, the hard-hearted rich move on into the glorious evening of drinking and talking and eating and drinking again, into sleep in their queen-sized beds as though they were queens, with kings beside each other. And it is night, and the moon's bright light falls through the huge windows of their high city apartments on their sedated bodies, and they decide to try love as a kind of heart softener. But the hard heart, in the end, is a stone, a fist of stone, that the body in love will hate. And then last, people in my family. In my family, people who were 82 were very different from people who were 92. The 82-year-old people grew up. It was 1914. This is what they knew. War, World War, war. That's why when they speak to the child, they say, poor little one. The 92-year-old people remember. It was the year 1905. They went to prison. They went into exile. They said, ah, soon. When they speak to the grandchild, they say, yes, there will be revolution. Then there will be revolution. Then once more. Then the earth itself will turn and cry out, oh, I have been made sick. Then you, my little bud, must flower and save it.